Okay, we're going to start. Welcome, everyone. This is Westchester Disabled. We try to have a monthly housing workshop. The only month I think that we don't have it is in December. But every other, on August, usually August and December, we don't have a housing workshop, but every other month we do have one. Now, our regular housing person is not here today, so I am going to be doing the hosting, which I don't think I have ever done for this. Yes, that's true. I have never done it for this housing workshop. So bear with me here. Basically, what we do is that we introduce one person from the staff who's going to tell you about her program and some other programs that we have, a short, brief intro to those programs. I believe she's here. Her name is Darla. But meanwhile, while she gets ready, we are been around for 41 years this year, and to serve people with disabilities with multiple types of programs, the majority of which is just to keep people living independently in the community. That's our main goal. It has been for 41 years and will always be. We are one of the leading advocates, if not the leading advocate, for people with disabilities in this county. You will often see us at budget hearings and other advocacy concerns and any kind of meetings, speaking our voice and talking and telling them what people with disabilities need or don't need. So please join us whenever we have an advocacy event. I do send out requests to join us at a meeting, so your voices too can be heard, not just ours. We do appreciate that. The more voices heard, the more powerful we as a disability community are. Darla, are you ready?
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Darla Lau Paula, and I manage here in Westchester Disabled on the Move, the programs that covers affordable health insurance for individuals and families that are seeking for this type of programs. And we assist, with the whole process, the process of getting the Medicaid, Medicare saving programs, renewal, or since we know the rules and regulations, we also can provide guidance in any exception that you might qualify. So that covers people that have a disability, people that are over 65, people that are legally blind, but also cover people that don't have any disability but need affordable medical insurance. I also manage the program, the Community Health Advocate. So if you have any issues with, let's say, a medical bill, or if you have your Medicaid approved, but it's not activated and you don't know why, well, this Community Health Advocate will help you follow the programs and the steps that you have to do to really get the benefits of all coverage in your Medicaid. So feel free to call us if you need help with any of these programs. And we're here free. Assistance is free, and we're here to help you. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Thank you so much, Darla. She runs two major programs, the Medicaid enrollment, which is a very much of a favorite. She, one of the great things about the Medicaid enrollment program that we have here is that we do everything for you. We fill out those pesky forms that are hard to understand that DSS insists on using. It's very convoluted, but they do it all. They fill it out. They take it down to DSS. If there's an issue, if there's questions regarding the Medicaid enrollment, they will fix it and work with you. If by any chance, which happens actually rather rarely, because she does fill out the forms accurately, you need to do an appeal, we will also help you with that. And one of the nice things about the other program that she runs, which is Child Community Health Advocate, is the pool trust. And another time we will have a presentation on that, how that works. But basically, if you have a little bit too much resource, we would help you to get Medicaid. If you're over, I think the term is over-resource, I hope I'm using that correctly. We can help you get that. Now, if you have $1 million over-resource, we are not helping you. You have to go get a lawyer for that one. We only help those that have a couple thousand or a couple $100 over-resource and need the Medicaid. Yes, we are there for you. I'm looking at my screen. I'm having a little difficulty with it. I'm sorry about that, but why don't we move on? I am going to introduce our main speaker, our only speaker, as a matter of fact. Nancy Miller, where are you? Okay, I was trying to fix this so you would be highlighted in the middle, but I can't see. Michael, can you do that, please? The speaker mode for the, so she's in the middle?
Yeah, let me see where she's.
Yeah.
Is she still in here? I don't
I'm
see her.
here.
Yeah,
There
there
you
she is. I see, even I see her. There she is right over there.
Do I need to pin myself?
I don't know. I've forgotten. I
There you
haven't.
go.
Oh, there you go.
There you go now.
Okay. Thanks, Michael.
You're welcome.
Okay, it's all yours.
Thank you so much. Maria and I have been friends and colleagues and advocates for more years than I want to admit to. I grew up in Westchester, and as the executive director of Visions, I have been very involved in the activities that Visions provides in Westchester and New York City and the rest of the state. For those of you who don't know me, my background is social work. I've also been in management of nonprofit agencies for close to 40 years. And now, as a retiree, I volunteer with the Older Individuals Who Are Blind Technical Assistance Center. That's at Mississippi State University. And I'm also involved with AER, which is the professional association in the field of blindness. And I'm a member of the American Council of the Blind, which is one of the most active peer support and advocacy organizations in the blindness community. So I am retired, but I'm still very involved in both advocacy as well as in training. And I was delighted to be invited to this particular group to talk about the resources that are available for people who are blind and people with vision impairments, particularly in Westchester. So the good news and the bad news. The bad news is there is no special housing for people who are blind in Westchester. There is no assisted living community specifically for blind people. There is no nursing home specifically for blind people. But that can be good news because the obvious result is that blind people live everywhere. They live everywhere throughout Westchester in all forms of housing. And there are resources available specifically for the community to help them remain independent and as much as possible out of a nursing home setting. The first resource that you should be familiar with is the New York State Commission for the Blind. Now, in New York State, services are available free of charge for people who meet the legal blindness definition. So you have to find out from an ophthalmologist or an optometrist if you meet that legal criteria, which is 20 over 200 acuity in both eyes with correction or less. So that means that wearing your glasses, your acuity is 20/200 or less. Or you have a restricted visual field of 20 degrees or less. Now, it's important to know that if somebody has a progressive eye disease, and it's clear that they are going to become legally blind, they still may be eligible for the free services that are funded by the Commission for the Blind. So it's always worth asking and seeing whether or not the individual might qualify. Commission for the Blind services are available from age 3 till no upper limit. Many people who receive services are over age 100. So if you yourself or somebody you're working with has a severe vision loss, it's really important to find out if they qualify for Commission for the Blind services. And they have a Westchester office in Valhalla. The phone number is 914-993-5370. Now, I want to talk a little bit about Vision Services for the Blind and Visually Impaired, which is an almost 100-year-old nonprofit and the primary service provider in Westchester for people who are blind or severely visually impaired. Vision's phone number is 888-245-8333. That's a toll-free number. And Visions offers many services. I'll mention a few of them. There are adaptive living groups for older adults that take place at Vision Center on Blindness. These are residential groups. Usually they last about a week, and you go and you live at the residential center and learn independent living skills so that you can remain in the housing you're in or qualify to be in independent housing. Visions also provides, and this is all free of charge, no cost, at-home rehabilitation services, specifically a vision rehabilitation therapist who will come to your home and teach you independent living skills, how to cook safely, how to manage your medication, how to take care of your home, how to do childcare. There's no age limit, and it's an opportunity for you to remain at home. Visions also offers orientation and mobility instruction. That's somebody who would teach you how to navigate safely around your environment, both indoors and outdoors. And that's particularly important when talking about housing. Sometimes somebody is independent where they live, but then they move, or they go into a rehab facility for short-term rehab, or they go into the hospital, or they move to a new location, or they come from out of state and they come to live with their children and they're not familiar how to navigate their environment. An orientation and mobility specialist will come and actually teach them how to maneuver, how to get around in their environment. O&M, orientation and mobility, will also help somebody figure out where the nearest bus stop is, how to get on the bus, how to use the paratransit system, whatever is necessary for that individual to be independent. Vision services are multilingual, so they can provide the service in the language of preference. About half of the staff speak a language other than English. And I want to mention a specific program in Westchester, which is a pre-Thanksgiving dinner that's usually held at a local synagogue or church. It's free. All ages are invited, family members are invited, and it's a great way for the blind and vision impairment community to come together, get to know each other, learn from each other what resources are available. So you can get on the mailing list, whether it's by email or snail mail, to get invited to that pre-Thanksgiving dinner. Volunteers provide transportation, or people can take paratransit, which is arranged specifically so that you can be dropped off and picked up during the pre-Thanksgiving dinner. Visions also provide social work services. So if you become a participant in Vision's programs and you're having a hard time adjusting to your vision loss, or your family is having a hard time adjusting, then licensed social workers are available to help in that adjustment period. I want to mention some other services that are specific to Westchester, but then I'll give you some resources that are available nationally. So in Westchester, Westchester Library Services not only has talking books, which are on discs now or can be downloaded, but they have particular expertise in knowing about the resources for people with vision loss who live in Westchester. They've been funded by the Field Hall Foundation to develop expertise, and they are a critical resource. If there's something that Westchester Disabled on the Move doesn't know, and they know just about everything, but if there's a gap in what they know, then Westchester Library Services will either know about it or they'll be able to find it for you. And their number is 914-231-3237. I also want to mention DeRote. DeRote is very active in Westchester. It's a volunteer matching organization that matches youth volunteers with older adults. They also have a University Without Walls program, which is by phone and also by internet, where you can take classes online for free. And many of the programs that they offer are specifically adapted, or they are specifically created for people with vision loss. So if you're not familiar with DeRote, I strongly recommend that you get to know about what services they provide. There is also a Westchester chapter of the American Council of the Blind, and it's a wonderful place for people to meet peers who also are experiencing vision impairment or vision loss. They have activities and programs and advocacy. And I strongly recommend that if you or somebody you know or one of your participants or clients is losing their vision, connect them with the Westchester chapter of the American Council of the Blind. Now, some of the national resources that are terrific and available to Westchester residents. The Hadley Institute has online courses of all kinds for people with vision loss. How to remain independent, how to use technology, all kinds of gadget instructions, mental health, physical health, exercise. Hadley Institute is available for anybody who is visually impaired or is print disabled. So in fact, they also provide services to people who may be dyslexic, in addition to people who are visually impaired. The American Printing House for the Blind, Connect Center, and Vision Aware are resources that again provides support, peer support, for people who are either losing vision or have lost vision. And they also have a resource directory that can tell you all of the resources that are available in your community. But I can tell you, Google is pretty good. If you Google blind services in Westchester, they give you a pretty comprehensive list. Now, I also want to mention timetoBeBold.org. That's timetoBeBold.org, which is managed by the Older Individuals Who Are Blind Technical Assistance Center. And Time to Be Bold is a resource not only for people with vision loss, but professionals who want to take free courses that will teach them how to better work with a blind population. Those courses are incredible. The people who have written the courses are extremely qualified professionals. I can mention that my husband is one of the people who has written one of those courses in orientation and mobility. That's his specialization and license. But Visions has written courses, and many others have written courses, and you can find them on Time to Be Bold. You can also find a list of research, articles. If you're writing a grant or you want to know more about the vision impaired population, Time to Be Bold gives you a lot of professional resources that you can access. Eye Care America is offered through the Ophthalmological Society for any person over the age of 65 plus, who can't afford to go to see an ophthalmologist, but believes they might have some type of a vision problem. They do not pay for eyeglasses, but they pay for the eye exam so that at least you get a proper diagnosis to determine what next steps may need to be taken. And Eye Care America, their phone number is 877-887-6327. I also want to mention the Foundation Fighting Blindness. They're a nonprofit that specializes in both supporting research and supporting individuals who have retinal diseases. So that could be retinitis pigmentosa, it could be macular degeneration, it could be Usher's syndrome. And they provide resources for researchers. They can also tell you what clinical trials may be going on right now. Somebody asked me to repeat the phone number for Eye Care America. It is 877-887-6327. The number for the Foundation Fighting Blindness is 800-683-5555. So these are some of the most useful resources that I've used when helping somebody adjust to or find out what's available. But the message should be really clear, and Maria started with it. Losing your vision does not mean that you need to lose your independence. Losing your vision means that you need to learn how to do things differently, non-visually, using and enhancing the other senses that you have. And that's the work that vision rehabilitation agencies like Visions and services supported by the Commission for the Blind. The goal is to keep you in your home as long as possible. But if you do have to move, helping you adjust to wherever you're moving to so that you can stay as independent as possible there. I'm going to stop and just give a chance for questions. If anybody has a question, or this is being recorded, so you should be able to get a copy of the recording.
Usually what we do is send out a listing of all the resources you just mentioned and the contact information. So we will do that with your permission.
Yes,
Okay, we will compile it all from the recording and send it out, because we found in the past, people prefer that than to watching the recording again. You know, so it makes it
perfect.
a little bit easier for them, yeah.
Perfect. And somebody asked for the name and contact information again for the intergenerational volunteers. That's DeRote. D is in David, O, R as in rain, O, T is in Tom. And the phone number is 914-485-8354. If there are any other specific questions, you can put them in the chat. I'll just review it quickly to see if there are any other questions that you might have.
Michael, do you see any questions in the chat that we haven't covered or answered?
I don't see anything. I see, what was the name of the youth volunteer organization?
DeRote, D-O-R-O-T.
They're here in Westchester County, seen them at our events.
Yes, they are very active. They have a location and they have active volunteers in Westchester.
Okay. The recording tends to go up on our website once Michael works on it.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Okay. Yeah, our past recordings are on YouTube. I don't see any other that I can say. Okay.
Hey, there's one other resource that I want to mention, and I couldn't find it in Westchester, but it may be something that could be an advocacy effort on the part of Westchester Disabled on the Move. So in New York City, every time new housing is built with government money, there is a 2% set aside. 2% of the apartments in affordable housing are specifically set aside for people with hearing or vision impairments.
Sensory,
So, same thing in Westchester.
yeah.
So
Yeah, but they don't, okay.
they
I
don't
hate to go there.
advertise it.
Thank you. I was about to say that. It's frustrating. It was frustrating for my predecessor too. I don't know where they're having these secret meetings about this, but yeah, they're obligated to do that, but we never know who the contact person is. And by the time you get hold of that contact person, they're already rented out. And there's no way to follow up as to if that apartment ever becomes available again. There is no obligation. They're not mandated to, make the information public. So
That's
part of
something
the
to
problem.
work on with the Westchester Disability Office, that they should be communicating. They should make the developers tell them as soon as those apartment applications are available, and that they should be letting you know when they're available. The way it works in New York City is you can sign up for a housing alert, and you get an email or a text, whatever you've requested, as soon as those apartments become available. So if you're on a list saying you're interested, you would find out about it right away. And my experience has been, at least in New York City, that sometimes the developers can't find somebody.
That's when they reach out to us, Nancy.
So
That is when they reach out to us. And
yes,
we have had occasionally some MOUs with local developers, because they understand departments need to be filled and they know we can fill them. you know, but those don't happen every time. You know, but I'm glad you pointed that out, because that's really important. Unfortunately, we're not in between housing specialists. She's on leave, you know. So she had just started here, and I don't think she's quite up to speed regarding those alerts, but the previous housing person was, you know. But it's a good thing to remind me that I need to see if those alerts are even still coming into us. You know, thank you for that. Wendy
Hi,
or somebody
can I
wanted to speak up. I don't know
can I
who.
speak for a sec? Hi, my name is Amy Morbido. Let me turn on my camera. I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi, how are you? My name is Amy Morbido. I'm with Westchester County Department of Planning. I just dropped a link in the chat. I think a couple of weeks ago, we launched a new website, Home Seeker, where you're able to go in and fill out a one-time application. And every time a new affordable housing becomes available, you'll get an email alert that it's available. And then if you're interested in it, you just go in and click the button that you're interested in it. I do not know about advertising for, I don't know if it's mentioned about advertising on there, but it's definitely going to be something that I bring up in our next meeting.
Can we put it on our website? Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay, will do. We'll definitely do that. Thank
It's
you.
very, I encourage everyone to sign up, just so you even have alerts as,
Yeah, we might
helpers.
even invite you to our next workshop to speak.
Okay. Well, I actually, my coworker, who I can't find right now, is looking for him to ask.
Mhm.
He is he's one of the people who developed it, so he's really helpful. So
Okay,
invite us.
good to know. Thank you.
Yes, of course.
And one other recommendation that I would make, it's something that Visions has done in New York City from time to time, where we've actually been invited to speak with the developers about the services that we provide that can help a blind individual remain safe in the apartment. Because unfortunately, there are still myths and stereotypes around the capabilities of people who are blind, and many developers are nervous about having blind tenants in their building. I know Westchester Disabled on the Move does a lot of training, but
Yes,
if a developer or a group of developers or a developers conference, real estate conference, would be willing to have a presentation from Visions on how do we train an individual so that they are safe within their home, that we think also makes a difference in whether or not the developers are more open to people who have more severe vision loss. I also wanted to mention a big question that comes up all the time is whether or not a person who uses a dog guide is restricted in where they live. And the answer is no, that if you have a blind individual, or a resident, a participant, a client who uses a dog guide, the law says that they have access to everything that a person without the dog would have. And sometimes we hear complaints from individuals with dog guides that they either are discriminated against or that they're not treated fairly in housing. And I just wanted to mention the Human Rights Division of New York State will help in those situations where someone that you know or a client that you work with feels that they're being discriminated against in housing. The Human Rights Division can help negotiate with that landlord or with that developer to make sure that the person who is blind is being treated not only fairly, but consistent with the law.
thank you. I know Westchester County has a human rights commissioner, Teja Sachala. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. He also did a presentation to us a couple of years ago, but yeah. they were very informative. I don't know if they touched upon that particular topic, but I remember they were very informative about that. Yeah, we also there's another division of Westchester County, and I can't remember their name now. It's long before pre-pandemic, but are very helpful. Oh, for goodness sake, she retired, but somebody must have replaced her. Very strong in advocating for people who have a disability and having a problem with the landlord because of their disability or some whatever it is the landlord may perceive incorrectly about the problems with the disability, so it'll come to me what that division is. I think her first name was Nora. But okay, I would add that. I'm going to research that, add that to the listing of resources when we send it out.
So I encourage everybody who comes across somebody who is blind, totally blind, legally blind, severely visually impaired, to make sure that they know about all of these resources, the funding that comes from the Commission for the Blind, the services that are provided by Visions, and I'll mention their toll-free number again, 888-245-8333. Sometimes I've gotten questions of, what are the other vision rehabilitation agencies in Westchester? There is no other. There used to be, but the agencies that previously worked in Westchester are no longer providing services in the home or rehabilitation services funded by the Commission for the Blind. So Visions is your contact for vision rehabilitation services, as well as I mentioned group training, individual at home training, counseling, and social activities that take place in Westchester. So any other questions? I'm happy to answer.
Somebody else put another housing council, it looks like. Michael, do you see that?
That was me, Amy from
Oh.
Westchester County again.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was
Hi,
Yes.
so George Asante, there's a new office for Housing Council, and
Yeah.
George Asante runs it, and it's like a legal services kind of
Oh,
but
maybe
it's
he
through
was the
Westchester County.
one that replaced the person I was thinking of. I don't know.
I'm not, this is a new office, so I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
they help with eviction, people trouble paying their rent, if their heat and hot water are off, everything. He's
I
very
see.
helpful, and very available.
Good to know. Okay, we definitely need to promote that office. He may regret this, that he's.
One
Okay.
other resource that I do want to mention, and it's not specific to blindness or vision loss, but they are very blindness friendly, is the County Office for Aging. They're wonderful in helping to connect older people with the resources that they need, and they're sensitive to the needs of people with blindness or vision loss. So, most social service agencies, nonprofit in Westchester, say that they are open to serving a blind population, a person who is experiencing blindness. But it's really important that if you're making a referral, to ask them what kind of expertise they have, because they may be open to serving everybody, but they may not be familiar with or sensitive to the accommodations that somebody with vision loss would need in order to be able to fully participate or fully integrate into the program. Many have taken special training or they have specialists on staff, but many social service agencies want to be open to everybody, but aren't necessarily trained to do so. So it's really helpful to ask if it's a generic social service agency what's their expertise in working with a blind or visually impaired population. And again, you know, Westchester Disabled on the Move is a fabulous resource. They can help in educating any other resource in Westchester. Definitely use Westchester Library Services. They're particularly good with technology, what kind of assistive technology is available. And part of the rehabilitation services that Visions provides would be helping an individual learn how to use whatever equipment they have at home. They may have used a computer when they were sighted, but now that they can't see or can't see well, they may not know how to access the features on their computer or on their cell phone that would enlarge or modify or speak. That's part of the rehabilitation service that's provided when Vision sends a specialist into the home. So I hope these resources have been helpful for you. My email is nancymiller@att.net. And I'm happy to answer any questions. Maria knows how to get in touch with me. We communicate pretty regularly. I have a very strong place in my heart for Westchester. I grew up in Yonkers, and my mom was a teacher in the Yonkers school system for many decades. So Westchester is and always will be a part of me, even if I don't live in the county anymore. I think it's a great place to live, to grow up, and to be a part of community. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Nancy, for doing this. This is amazing. You know, it's really important because when I first, my vision first started to go and when it went for what it was worth, no one told me anything about resources. It was like, how sad, you know, it was like, yeah, I guess you're just going to be home now. That was the feeling that you got once you lost your vision, and was pretty much nothing you could do anymore. But turns out, of course, thank God, that was all a wrong perception of, you know, and I can't blame my family because that was the general perception. That's the way things were, you know. No one knew anything about assistive technology or, you know, the commission, which wasn't called a commission for the blind then. It was something with the visually handicapped or something to that effect. But those resources are still not well known. Still not well known, and I don't get it, but they're not very good, unfortunately, the Commission for the Blind in promoting themselves, you know, unless somebody like Nancy, you know, tells you, or somebody else who's used their services tells you about it. It's like a, you know, a need to know thing, you know, about the services for people who are blind, which is sad, you know, sad for any disability, actually, that a lot of these services are not known at all. And we are going to try to work on our website and building up our resources pages. We had a resource page that we had to discontinue because it's one thing to build it up, another thing to sustain it, because resources and links are changing. And so that became an issue. But fortunately, we have an intern program, and some of them are on here. 2 of them are on here, I think, and they're hearing it now. They're going to be in charge of the resource page, you know. So that's really good news. I am going to do this. Michael, could you help me, please? We're going to ask 2 trivia questions based on what Nancy just spoke about. Michael?
Yes, I'm listening.
Okay. I sent you 2 questions. I don't know if you're going to be able to show them or what. So we are very grateful. I should have mentioned them up front, to have sponsors for our housing program. It helps cover the cost of running a housing program, which is always there's a cost involved in anything you do nowadays. But it does help us to make the program more helpful in terms of outside in the community. We are planning to have one in-person, as soon as the housing person comes back, one in-person housing meeting, not just virtual, because many people have said they miss those, because especially help filling out the forms. You know, they need help filling out the forms. Now, people can still come in here, that's not the problem, you know, but they we would like to have like, we call it a boot camp. We used to have an annual boot camp where we had interns and volunteers help out, and everybody filled out 6, 7, and we mailed out the forms, kept track, helped you to keep track of it, but we mailed them out, made copies of it, you know, and everything. So it was always a very successful, very packed workshop. So we want to try that once again before the year end. Now, the trivia questions is sponsored by ShopRite, who gave us a very generous donation of ShopRite. Is it $25 ShopRite cards?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
great. And $25 ShopRite cards. We also have for a housing program, generous donation by Carvel Foundation and the Westchester County Board of Legislators. So let's go. Oh, look at that. Fancy. Okay. The first one is, and Michael, let's see. Oh, let me blow this up. Hold on a second. Number one. What is now this, I know the answer for it because gosh darn it, I use it every freaking day. What is the name of the transportation system available to the blind in Westchester County? And I don't know what that means, choice 1, choice 2.
Paratransit.
Oh, I didn't have the answers. That's why I put them.
Oh, who said paratransit?
Teresa.
Teresa, you work here, never mind.
Oh,
No employees, get out of here. Okay,
Okay.
it has to be a non-employee.
sorry.
Anyone else? Choice 1. I don't know what he means by choice 1 and choice 2. Oh, you didn't get a chance to fill it in. Okay. Anyone else? Because you just got a big, huge, humongous clue.
Paratransit.
Who said that?
Nikki.
Nikki. Okay, Nikki, you won the first $25 ShopRite card.
Thanks, Teresa.
Teresa again?
No, I said thanks, Teresa.
You're welcome, Nikki.
Enjoy.
Okay. Nikki, I hope after this you can email us your address or something so we can get the card to you, okay?
Sure.
Okay. The next one is, what is the specialization that helps the blind get around their home and the community safely? She spoke about that.
Visions?
Orientation and mobility.
Who said that?
Colleen Skelly.
Okay. Wow. Second card goes to you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Wow, that was an easy trivia questions. I should have made them far more difficult, but okay. Done. Thank you, Michael.
You're welcome.
Okay.
I am happy to donate my card to any of.
No, you're not. You're getting it.
Hey,
We're sending it to you regardless.
thank you.
Okay. We are very lucky to have ShopRite and Carvel. They've funded some other events of ours, especially our Thanksgiving, our annual turkey Thanksgiving and fillings with the help of Mayor Spano's office in Yonkers. We do annual Thanksgiving, and each person that we send a box or two, or basket, I think it's a basket,
The basket.
goodies, we include a $25 ShopRite card for them. Okay, now, anyone wants to join our mailing list for future housing workshops, you can indicate that when we email you that you would like to join our mailing list for housing workshops. And if you have any suggestions, because again, our regular housing specialist, she is on leave for now. So you don't want me to come up with ideas. I will come up with something too bizarre. So if you have any ideas that you would like to see in the August housing workshops, please let us know in the upcoming week or two, and we will make it happen. You know, so do that for us. It will be extremely helpful. We are going to send the links to you, so you will get them all. Now, are there any other questions on anything that you might have that we can answer? That is, if it's about life and the meaning of life, that we don't know. But if you have any other questions, anything. Okay, we have a 100% happy audience. Perfect. Nancy, thank you very much.
Oh, you're very welcome. My pleasure.
Okay, everyone, next housing workshop, we will announce it. It's usually the last week of the one day in the last week, Wednesday or Thursday of the month. So look out for that announcement. Thank you so much and bye-bye.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.